Hey friends, hope you're doing fine. In this video, I'd like to show you a trick which I discovered recently, which allows you to sort your dates column, specifically your months, in your visualizations. Let me first show you the problem and let me then show you the solution. So, let's say I'm interested in development of any kind of measure, let's say our sales as a KPI, over the months. So I want to know, okay, which months were pretty good and which ones were not so good. So to do this, I can go inside my dates table first, and then I'm searching for the month, and I want to have the month name, which is here. I can tick this option, like that, and then I get here a list of my month names. So far, so good. Now next, I'd like to actually see my KPI, which in my case is my sales. So I can tick this value here, and I can see the numbers. And I don't want to have it as a table. This is why I simply switch this to a line chart. I tick this option and I'm good to go. I can see here my months and I can see the development. But wait a minute. If you take a closer look at the axis, you see here it starts with April, then January, then March, and so on. So why is that? Well, if you want to sort, you always want to check first, clicking on the three dots, what is the current sorting? And if I take a look at this, I can see currently it's sorted by total sales and descending. This is why obviously in April there were the highest sales. This is why it's the month which is shown first. That is not what I want. I want to have a sort by the month name. So I can tick this month name option here. Okay. But now it's sorted, but it's sorted alphabetically. I can easily check this because if I click on the three dots and go to the sort axis again, I can see it's currently sort descending. But if I would tick sort ascending here, then I can see it starts with A. April's the first, then August, then December, and so on, until September, which is starting with a capital S, which is the last of all the characters in here, considering the alphabet. Okay. So this means I can sort by, in this case, a string or text value, which is the month name. But the issue is that I can only sort it based on the alphabet, either ascending or descending. And this, of course, is not what I want, because I want to have a proper order, starting in January and ending in December, even though I'm only displaying the month names. How can I do that? Well, actually, there are two ways to solve this. The first one would be to use a helper column, so meaning an additional column which allows us to sort the names properly, and then we can sort by this specific column. Another option, which we could also apply, is that we create a new measure, in this case a new calculated column to be specific, which also only shows the month names, but it is sorted the right way automatically. So let me first show you this new trick, and then we also take a look at the second way to solve it, using the, let's say, the older option or the standard option, which I always use normally, which is simply using a sorting column. But let's start with the new one first. So to do this, let me just maybe go to my dates table. In my dates table, I want to create a new column. So let's actually take a look at the data view. It's easier here, okay. And here we got our dates table. And the specific column we are interested in is, of course, the month name, this one, which currently displays the months, and this is the one we're going to use. Then we are also interested in this case, the month of year, this column here, because this column we could use in order to sort the month name, which is the month and year, because it's simply numbers from 1 to 12. So we can simply sort the month name by this column, and this allows us to display the values correctly. This will be the second option, and I'm going to show you this, of course, later on. But let's actually first explore the new way, as I said. So, if I want to sort the month name by default in the right order, I could simply go in here and create a new column. And in this column, I can make it bigger here, I will use the rep function. So let's say here month sorted, simply call it this way here, is equal to, go to new line, shift enter, And then I say I want to repeat, so repetition, there's a rep function, which allows us to enter some text, and then the number of times we want to repeat it. And we are going to use something really interesting, which is a specific unichar character, which is actually displaying nothing. Yes, you heard me correctly. Let me show you what I mean. We will use unichar, so unichar, and the number we're going to use is 0032, which is actually displaying nothing. It's a kind of space. And the way it works is we simply say, how often do we want to repeat it? Well, we simply say 12 minus, in this case, the month of year from the dates table. So the month of year column, I've shown you this, is simply displaying 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on until 12. So the specific number for each of the months. And this means that for January, we actually want to repeat the basically empty unichar character 11 times, because 12 minus 1. For February, we will repeat it 10 times, meaning 12 minus 2, and so on. Until we are in December, which simply means we repeat it 0 times, because the month of year for December is 12, and 12 minus 12 is 0. So the idea is that we simply pad, so we put empty string values before the month name, but they are not shown. This is the interesting part here. And because we do this inside the column, then it is sorted correctly. And I'm going to show you that this works. So I can close this now here. And then I simply say, what exactly do I want to add to the nothing, which is currently actually what it's showing, is simply I'm using an ampersand here, and I'm using the month name. So month name from the dates table, and that's basically our whole formula. So again, what this does is simply it's padding simply empty spaces which are not visible in front of the month name. And because they are not visible, it doesn't mean that the month name is shifted. It's simply displaying the month name without displaying actually this one, but this still helps for sorting. So let me just finish this. Let me press enter to execute this. Okay, and we have created our new column. There it is. And if I now scroll to the right, you can see that there is our month sorted, and it's simply displaying here January, February, and so on, right? So you do not really see a real difference here to the original month here, which is there. Beside, it's actually, as you can see here, it's not here, it's to the left side, and here, it's actually in the middle, right? It's padded in here. But still, let's actually use this in our visual. So if I go into the report again, and I will create the same visual here. So let me just go here. Let me just recreate it quickly. So I simply go to a line chart here, click on a line chart, and here I'm going now with the same KPI, which is referring to, in the measures table, the total sales. Take the value here. So we can see a dot. Let me just get rid of that. Select it, and then we also add the month, but this time we use the sorted month, right? So let's check where it is, and month sorted, there's our calculated column, and let's take this here, take it. Again, you see that default sorting is simply descending based on the sales value. That's not what we want. We go in here and say sort access. We want to sort it by month sorted, and then we go in here and say, of course, we want to sort it ascending, starting in January. And if I tick this option, now you can see, if you compare those, this starts in January, then February, March, April, May, and so on. So this is sorted correctly by default, the month sorted, so the calculate column, which we've created. The original one, there, that was not possible. Now the only option, and I said that at the beginning, which is actually the way I always did it before I knew this or came across this new idea, is that you simply go back in your, in this case in your table, and then what you did, or what I did actually, was simply using the month name here, and then we say sort by column, and instead of sorting it by the name itself, by the same column, I want to sort it actually by the, in this case, month of year. So if I go here and say I want to sort it by month of year, just make sure this one here, tick this option. Then this gets sorted now by the month of year column. And if that happens, I can go back to my report. And then I see that now this is also sorted correctly in here, right? So also starting in January and then it ends in December. So basically there are two ways to do this. The first one is, as you've seen here, that was the last one I've shown you actually, which is the one I always used in the past, which is simply I have an additional helper column, which is my sort by column. And if I had this, which in this case is a number, and if I have this, I can sort it, and then it's displayed correctly in here. However, this new idea is quite interesting actually, using this unichar character number 0032, and then actually create the column, but which is sorted, as you see, by default correctly. And this new way has one main benefit, if you ask me. Because the idea is that whenever you use any kind of calculations and you apply actually the calculation based on the column you're gonna use in your report here, then you need to be aware that you also need to include the sorting column in the calculation. For instance, when you use all selected. If you don't do this, then your formula will deliver wrong results. This is something you always need to be aware of if you use another column for sorting. This is something you can actually ignore, so you don't have to pay attention to this when you use only one column which is automatically sorted, because then you only need to reference this specific column. And that is the main benefit here. So again, it's up to you what you want. You can do it the default way, which I call it, which is the upper one, which I will always use, but you need to be aware that you also need to include your sorting column in various calculations you do. So that's it for this video. Hopefully that was interesting. So I think this is really, an interesting way approach to solve this. And now you also know how to do this. So thanks a lot for watching. In case you have not done so far, please consider subscribing to the channel, because the more people subscribe, the more videos I will produce, which hopefully help all of you to be the best kind of Power BI expert you can be. So that's it. Please stay healthy and hopefully see you in the next video. Until then, best guys.